एहलकारों को बुलाया गया। वाज़ेह रहे कि निकोल किडमैन ऑस्कर समेत कई अवार्ड्स जीत चुकी हैं।
Relationship or life. And for the generation of the 90-day fiancé, do you think it works? Or how can we make it work in a world like so fast-paced? We don't have time to meet people. We only have getting results and then having something to show as a record at the end of the children's lives. They say, because that is so great. So what's your
Welcome to Colonial Beach, Virginia, and
tapping onto you and your long-term relationship. Firstly, of course, I'd like you to tell us, do you have a message for us on Valentine's Day? I would like you to focus today on mature, seasoned relationships. And one of the questions are, how do we revive old, tired relationships? What are your top 3 tips to keep a seasoned relationship alive? And for the generation of the 90-day fiancé, do you think it works? Or how can we make it work in a world like so fast-paced? We don't have time to meet people. We only have got like a window period of 90 days. How can we make that work? And also long-distance relationship. Is it something that is set up to fail? So with these few questions, I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Moby for the next 30 minutes. It's such a pleasure to have him. He's such a big celebrity. I'm kind of jittery and nervous to have him on, because it's so seasoned. I'm such a novice in this industry. So, Dr. Moby, do you have the message for us today before we go into the questions?
Oh, thank you for asking all those questions, and thank you, Vicky. Vicky is always such energetic and full of life, and if you watch our episodes, she gets us going, and makes us we can all feel in her.
Thank you.
We pray that she keeps on doing this great, amazing work. And you are so much, you got so much love and respect from all of us. So keep up the good work. So I will always say that.
From Singapore.
For Singapore, for all over the world. I mean, imagine you are in Singapore, I'm in US, and then we are connecting, and so it is a blessing that we could do that, right? So, and not only that, but also kind of make good changes to everybody's life. I mean, your show is talk about life. You talk about so many things. You talk about faith. You talk about it's such an amazing job you're doing. So keep it up, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Dr. Moby.
Regarding
Learning
your
along the way. What's your message for us today for Valentine's Day?
The message of Valentine's Day is always going to be love and honesty, because those are the biggest things we all need. Imagine any relationship, whether being husband wife, whether being lover, or whether being friend, has to rely on honesty. So if you're not honest about your relationship, it's a sadness is that those time can change, but the principles never change. Life is actually built on very simple principle of love, trust, and honesty, respect for each other, and
जुए को जिंदगी समझना और जिंदगी को जुआ, हार कर सब मालो मता उतर जाता है जवारी का नशा। हम तो कुर्बत से कभी आशना ही ना थे, हम तो कुर्बत से कभी आशना ही ना थे, तेरी संगदिली से तो है आशिकी का नशा। दुनिया माफिया को छोड़कर गोशाए नशी होना, ये फकीरी नहीं, ये है फकीरी का नशा। हारिस नशे और भी हैं, हारिस नशे और भी हैं, महके नशे के सिवा, जिंदगी के हर रूप में छुपा उसने आवारगी का नशा। आदाब।
Hi, I'm Rocky Kramer, watching Lifestyle TV, USA.
Today we are honored with a great guest, podcaster all the way from Germany. Let's hear from Joe. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for tuning in. So tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
I am, since January 1st, 2021, a full-time podcaster. I originally started out back in 2012 with podcasting, at this time a startup podcast in German about German startups, and at one point I did have an interview guest who wasn't a German native speaker, and he said, yeah, okay, I'm more comfortable if we do it. I feel more secure if we do it in English. And so I was doing my first interview in English back in 2012. And at one point it got so much of interest as well as mix up on this one podcast feed that I basically carved out about German my English content, and this I did have an interview guest who started on German.io, and he said, I was sticking a little bit with the other team, and then since 2018 I feel more secure more by myself. And so I was do have a co-host for my startup. He lives in one city. It got so much time and there's well a startup on this one podcast feed that I basically carved about my Frankfurt content, and basically I did have an guest to start around 2 pieces per average. I was sticking a bit mostly into the with answers that I cannot find in English anywhere else. So I was very do have a co-host for my startup. he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and basically that has startup opportunities that are average looking and most of them with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do have he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and basically that has startup opportunities that are average looking and most of them with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do have he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and basically that has startup opportunities that are average looking and most of them with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do have he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and basically that has startup opportunities that are average looking and most of them with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do have he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and basically that has startup opportunities that are Starbucks there, and most of them has with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do have he lived in an early decade startup, and there are startups on the best podcast that are basically talking about my Frankfurt, and those that has startup opportunities that are Starbucks there, and most of them has with entrepreneurs that they cannot find anywhere else. Where you do It is the same effect we had here for the last few years, even in Germany. You have to see we have now a monetary policy ruled by the European Central Bank, which is actually you have to see we have here, but they have to accommodate the whole European monetary union, not only Germany. So for Germany itself, the interest rate is a little bit too low, so the economy is doing pretty well. Plus, at the point in time, like years back when we still had the own German currency, the D-Mark, it was usually the economy was booming, the exchange rate went up, the boom died. But since we do have now the euro, it's a much more stable exchange rate, especially for Germany. And if Germany booms, the euro doesn't necessarily go up a lot. So that also gives an additional boost to the German economy. And that's, for example, what we're seeing in the very good numbers in the listed companies, as well as here in some of the asset prices, especially in and around Frankfurt, Munich, Hamburg, in terms of real estate prices.
Also, I would like to get your opinion on Brexit. What is the impact and what is the future for that?
That's a pretty good question. I do believe some people in the United Kingdom are already regretting the Brexit. I am not necessarily sure that in any case this was a good idea from the perspective of the United Kingdom. And I do believe the two governments that followed the Brexit decision have had no real plan how to actually deal with this. So they just had to fight from crisis to crisis, which wasn't necessarily putting the United Kingdom on a sound footing for the Brexit itself. They'll now have to look and search for what type of business model is working for them. On the other hand, I do believe the demand in the European Union from UK is missing, but also a fighter for a little bit more. They tend to like to regulate a lot. The UK always tended to regulate less, so that was a good balance. Now we have to see how the next few years, the regulation is changing due to that. I do believe the UK, at least in the short term, they made a very bad choice, giving now all the problems they have in the short term with the import, also like from essentials, food, drugstore, pharmacies, and stuff like this, where there's some items missing. But I do believe that it will be smoothed out pretty soon. And then, as I said, the UK has to look for a business model that works.
Thank you, Dr. Moby, for being my VIP or VIG, very important guest for this Valentine Day special. And without further ado, I like for this Valentine Day special. And without further ado, I like for this Valentine Day special. Thank you, Dr. Moby, for being my VIP or VIG, very important guest for this Valentine Day special. And without further ado, I like to tell the listeners and the viewers, you're tuning in to Dr. Moby and Vicky. I've got a few questions for Dr. Moby, and then your analysis of a case study. Tapping onto you and your long-term relationship. Firstly, of course, I'd like you to tell us, do you have a message for us on Valentine's Day? I